Welcome back to Consider This. Melisa and Sharaad here with you this evening. We're speaking to Dr. Dzulkefly Ahmad, former Health Minister. Now, tomorrow is the beginning of phase 2 of this MCO. Dr. Zul, how do you think things can be done differently or done better in this coming second phase?
Just before we left, I mentioned to you about this, the importance of getting our, these MCOs provide that respite, provide the buying time to get our kind of facilities, particularly our ICUs and all those by way of the preparedness to handle patients that are more severe and critical. That's certainly one aspect. And I said to you that earlier that by way of mortality rate, the CFR, the case fatality rate, and as well the recovery rate, we are doing well. Going by that, I must say that we are doing very commendably. However, on the second domain, which is the public health measures, so going into MCOs too, we have got to really be serious about this. That aspect of hospital base is one thing, the frontliners and whatnot. But on the part of the public health measures, these will really need to involve society at large, the rakyat, the citizenry. They must understand that they need not be implored or begged to come for testing or whatnot. They must responsibly, on their individual capacity and earnestness and honesty, come forward, because this is the only way, because what
Dr.
we need
Zul,
to do...
on that score, Dr. Zul, there's still talk about the tablet cluster. Have religious leaders failed? Is there a trust deficit with the authorities that people are still, despite all the pleas, despite the call for non-stigmatization of the tablet members, yet there is reluctance? What's going on? Tell us.
Well, I don't think it is as a result of a trust deficit to the authority, more than an unwillingness or perhaps a bit of ignorance on the part of our citizenry, to understand that they may be asymptomatic, but they certainly, as you very well know, 80% of us will definitely be infected. You and I could have already been infected, but we are among the 80% that will, be asymptomatic without any symptom. Without any symptom, cough, or runny nose or whatever, of shortness of breath, and you may be asymptomatic, but they may not realize that they are in fact carriers. So soon as they realize that despite not having symptoms, they cannot take that for granted, because they may not be themselves down with COVID-19 kind of disease, but pneumonia, like not the severe one, but they are certainly and definitely a carrier, transmitting this virus around. And they must understand, to the two extreme of ages, those above 65 and those below, the younger children, and they are the vulnerable group. Although children for the time being are not so susceptible to SARS-CoV-2, but I must say that if they get to understand what they have, what the consequences of their action of not wanting to come forward, I'm sure it's not that they are not less, it's not that for the reason of a trust deficit, but it's to me more of ignorance. Hence, the need to enhance further awareness.
Okay, so you're saying so increasing the education, increasing the level of awareness, and making sure that communication lands to everyone, right? Okay, well,
exactly.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have to speak to you tonight, Dr. Zul. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sharaad.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Consider This. I'm Melisa, Idris, with me, Sharaad, Kuttan, signing off for tonight. Thank you for watching, folks. Stay safe.